Hey, I'm Renee,
I'm Jermaine.
and we're the Macks. Thank you so much for joining us. We are having a little reminiscent episode today.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be sharing a little bit about our favorite vacation. We've been in this COVID thing for a while, and we felt a little reminiscent, a little nostalgic, and we wanted to share. So, yeah, really me. And we wanted to share about our favorite vacation with you guys.
So before we go into this video, we wanted to give a shout out to Kingdom Quality. So they have sponsored the shirts that we're wearing for this video. So we definitely want you guys to check them out on Instagram. We're gonna put their description below.
Check out KQ. Represent who you are.
Yep. All right. So let me just say a little disclaimer here, okay? Before we get into the video. For me, I don't have a favorite because every single experience is different for me. So they're like every trip that we've ever been on has something about it that makes
Some
it
highlights.
special for me.
That's
Exactly.
true. That's true for me as well.
Really?
Right? It is. It is true. I mean, in the earlier days when we had those crazy vacations, that's a different story.
I don't want to spoil it, but there's only one reason why she chose the one she chose. One
That's
reason.
not true.
And you will see it. You will see it. It will be shown. It's a bias. It's a preference. But I won't say anything. Go ahead.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. So for me, it was a very tight race, right? So our 9th anniversary trip and our 10th anniversary trip, those two trips were like close.
Yeah.
Close first and second for me. But if I had to choose, I would choose our 10th anniversary trip, which was to Mexico City, Mexico, for the Formula One race.
Yeah. And that's so there you go. That's why it's her favorite, because she has been a fan of Lewis Hamilton
Ooh,
ever since I've known her. It annoys me. But it is what it is. I'm a Ferrari fan, so I'm a fan of Leclerc, and he was robbed. That's all I'm gonna say.
He was not robbed. He just
was
didn't
robbed.
drive well enough to
He
win.
was robbed, right?
Yeah. So let's start from the beginning.
Yes.
All right, let's start from the beginning of that trip. So,
Well, let's talk about the planning of the trip first.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So usually what we do on our vacations, we plan them months in advance, right? So we have to coordinate with work, we have to coordinate in terms of budget, we have to kind of decide what we can or can't do. So we had this brilliant idea that we wanted to do Formula One. So we're like, okay, cool. These tickets sell out quickly.
Yeah.
So we had to buy these tickets months before we even bought our plane.
Or plane tickets, yeah.
And we were like, what if we buy the tickets and then we can't get to go? Like, what happens?
Yeah.
And so we bought what we could afford
Yes.
in terms of tickets.
Like, the budget is important, guys. Like, I know it sounds all fancy and it sounds listen, we had a budget and we stuck within that budget.
And I mean, all things considered, and we'll show photos, of course, our placement was pretty good.
Pretty
And
nice.
it so happens that where we sat was where they did the trophy
Yes.
celebration. And we
Yeah,
thought we
we
were
didn't even
getting
know.
cheap seats. So
We didn't even know,
Yeah.
but don't. That's a spoiler.
Yeah.
That's a spoiler.
Yeah, so we planned it in advance. We did some research. I spoke to a friend at work who lives in Mexico. So we got
Yes.
someone who agreed to kind of show us around and help us. Somebody who spoke to us about the process of Formula One, where to get the
Yes.
tickets, all of that stuff.
They were so helpful.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful for
Yeah.
them.
And so that's it. So we bought the tickets from like the July, August, and our
Yeah.
anniversary was in October.
Yeah.
So we bought those, we got them, and then we just kind of made plans to fly to Mexico. Was it a long flight, longish?
I mean, we had a long layover, but not the flights themselves weren't
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
We had a long layover.
So what are your first impressions of Mexico?
Well, truth is, so we ended up staying in an airport hotel. So we didn't get to do like a full tour or anything like that.
Because of budget.
Yes, because of budget and because of favor. Because one of the same friend was so
Yes.
gracious, and he like
He helped us pay
helped
for our
us.
hotel.
Yeah, and he prepared the accommodations for us and stuff. So we were like, cool. When we landed in Mexico, we were like, all right, so how we get to the hotel now?
And then, so it was very interesting because we were trying to get a taxi, and we went
Yeah.
up and went like 2 or 3 floors.
It
and
was
like,
so funny.
where do we go? And like, can we find somebody who speaks English?
Yeah.
And then somebody's like, oh, what do we do?
They're like,
think-
oh, but you don't need a taxi.
Just it's
You
right
can
around.
walk. It's right up there. We're like,
Thank you, Lord. Jesus.
okay, thank you. So though, like, listen, guys, we had been doing the whole Duolingo for Spanish. I did Spanish up to CXC. I remember,
Didn't work out
like,
for me.
some.
I understood nothing.
I remember some, and I can interpret. I can understand what they're saying to me, but to speak it is a little bit challenging.
She was a linguist on the trip. Because every time we had to order food or ask for something, I was like, go.
Yeah, that's true. I did the talking on the trip. But yeah, so we found our hotel. We were
We walked
literally
to our
able
hotel.
to walk to the hotel. And that was good. That was great.
It's amazing. We have photos of that as well.
Yes.
Mhm.
And the people were very friendly, very understanding, because I know that they knew that it was basically tourist season because everyone was
Yeah.
in town. So
Yeah.
a lot of persons would have been there, and they were very accommodating, very calm, very organized, and it was good. Our room was lovely.
Yep. So what we decided to do, so if you're familiar with Formula One, then you know there's kind of like, was it like a practice day?
Yeah, so there are 3 days.
Yeah.
You have on day 1 you have practice 1 and 2. On day 2 you have practice 3 and
Then on race
and
day,
placement, and then you have
race day.
race day, which is day 3. So sorry, our plan or intention was to go to all 3 days. That was the highlight of the trip. That was the main thing we went there
That's
to
the
do.
most exhausting part of the trip. Like after day 1, I was like, we're gonna do this 2 more days.
It was scary. So it's the end of day 2 for us. Like, race is still going on. We're being like, we're good and proper. We're out. So back to the hotel for us.
It was
But we'll definitely be showing you guys a montage of the videos of the trip itself and how it was for us at the end of this video.
so many fun stories out of that trip.
Oh goodness. And I think that's why it's my favorite.
Right.
So the first night that we got there, we went into the room, and as we usually do, we prayed and we got settled in. We got some room service. We ate and stuff. We didn't do room service. We went
What did we do the first
downstairs
night?
because we were in the airport hotel. We were able to go downstairs and get food in the airport. There was an
Yeah.
Italian restaurant
Yeah.
there, right? And we went and got that food to go, and then
We got
to get back
breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the
at the
airport.
airport.
Like,
Yeah,
that was a
Yeah.
week for us.
yeah, it was.
But the food was really good.
Oh my gosh,
Mm.
Mexican food is amazing.
Would that count as Mexican food?
Some of it we actually had Mexican food, but a lot of the trip we had just
Yes,
regular
'cause I think
airport
the
food.
first night we tried to go to the Italian restaurant.
Yes, the first night was the Italian restaurant. Yeah, so that was good. And, we got up the next morning ready to go because it's day 1 of F1. And
Did we understand anything?
no.
So we were like, okay, let's call a taxi. Taxi must know where we are to go.
Mhm.
Taxi picked us up and brought us to this place where they're waiting on, like, so based on our ticket number, like thousands of people go to Formula
Yeah.
One.
We had a map and everything.
Yeah.
We had a map and we had our tickets.
We just had to be sure we got to the right
gate.
Yeah.
Right. So we knew which gate we were supposed to go to. So we told the taxi driver, this is the gate we need to go to. Right. We showed him the map, said this is where we need to be.
And then we got there. Then it turns out we weren't at the gate. We had to like walk around for like 15-20 minutes to another point because the buses that came there weren't bringing persons to that drop-off point that would have brought us close to our seats.
So our seats were at gate 15, right? We had to enter through gate 15. So where he left us, we were at gate 12. So it
sounds
okay,
close,
you know,
but
that sounds,
it's not close.
We're like, okay, you know, gate 12, gate 15, that it shouldn't be too far. And when you look on the map, they do look close. So we say, all right, cool. Let's just walk. Turns out that there's no direct path from gate 12 to gate 15.
Yeah.
Gate 12 was south, and gate 15 is like all the way north, all the way on the other side.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Because at this time we're already late and we're hearing the cars zipping by and we're like, oh my gosh, you know, excitement. So we decided to walk and try to find a gate. So we're walking and we're walking. As Jermaine said, 15 to 20 minutes, we're walking. So we got to gate 14. So we're like, all right,
okay.
Yes.
Almost there.
Close.
No, we weren't.
And we showed our tickets to the guy at the gate, and they speak no English.
Yeah.
They speak no English. So they're giving us the instructions in Spanish, and I can't catch it.
Yeah.
I just can't catch what they're saying. But praise the Lord. Thank God for Jesus. He sent someone.
Yeah.
And the guy comes, he was entering, and he stopped and he's like, oh, they're saying that, you know, you can catch the bus right there and it will take you around to your gate. We're like, oh, thank you so much.
And then even after we took that bus, it brought us close. When we actually saw where the bus had to drive, we're like, we could not have walked this. Because we were on the bus for like at least 10-15 minutes. So imagine that walking.
Yeah.
Right? Because the bus lanes were cleared for Formula One.
Yeah.
So
what we forgot was that when we we walked from gate 12 to gate 14. We got to gate 14 thinking that, okay, we're going to section 15. So it's, you know, it's close. It looks close on the map. So we're talking to the lady at the gate, and she doesn't speak English. Yeah. So we could only understand so much and no more. And so she was telling us about the bus and taking the bus to go around to the north, and we didn't really get it.
And then a good Samaritan.
Yes, praise the Lord. You know, a gentleman translated for us and said, oh, you know, you can just go to the bus stop, it's right there, and it will take you around. So we're like, praise Jesus. Thank you, Lord. You send people to save your people. Because this walk would not be pretty. And I must say, like, though there were so many people there, it didn't feel disorganized.
I mean, it's logistically, it would have been a dream for me to be a part of that planning, honestly.
Amazing.
But it was well thought out. It's a massive space. Like, it spans like miles because it's a very, very large track. So it is integrated into
the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. So roads were closed off and stuff. Yeah. So we went on the bus ride, and we eventually got to our gate.
Yeah.
We got to our gate, and then we had quite a walk actually from the gate to get over to our seats.
And we got to the right gate. Where it let us off right at the kind of check-in point. So you went in, you just followed the stairs, you gave them a ticket, you verified you were in the right space.
Yes.
And then you kind of walked upstairs, went all the way across the road now, and then you got in, and then you were just in your little section. Like you weren't really allowed to go elsewhere.
Right.
But from where we were, we could actually see the guys coming.
We could see the pits, guys.
Yes,
we could see the pits. It was so exciting.
It was like, and I think that was part of what the person who we spoke to originally helped us with. We were like, what's the best place for us to sit? And he was like, well, It's not the most popular place, but right here, this little spot, you
Yeah.
get to see, some good stuff because our tickets were affordable compared to some of the other spots that were 3-4 times the price.
Yeah, and listen, when we so getting up to our seats, there was a lot of activity. There were like food stalls and picture booths and bunch of stuff. So we were stopping and checking out these things, and
I was dead tired. I was like, can we just go to our seats like right now?
So we
And
did quite a
hungry.
bit of that. And then we had to climb the stairs now to get up to our seats, which was a whole other drama because the altitude of the track, I think the Mexican track is probably the highest or the second highest track on the circuit. So the air is pretty thin up there. And then we're climbing and we're like, oh God, we're dying, gasping for air. But we eventually got there. We got there.
Yeah.
But when we got there and we sat down in our seats, I was like so amazed because we were right in the chicane, like right there. Listen, I can't even explain.
So
I can't even explain how exciting that was.
We'll have to either explain with a video. So we're probably gonna share a video or a whole bunch of photos, right? Because where we were, we got to see the cars. So the cars were coming towards us, and then there was a little curve on the road, and you get to see them kind of pick up speed and then shoot out.
Right.
So I mean, it was pretty cool. So the practice day, you got to see.
So that's what the chicane is. He just explained it. It's a corner.
Actually, who understands that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we just kind of made some friends, took some photos, met people from all over the world. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So mind you, we learned the following day. Let me not jump.
So we were sitting in the wrong seats.
We were sitting in the wrong seats. We were sitting in the wrong seats.
And then Renee made a whole sermon about it, but
Yeah, but no, it's a serious thing. It's a serious thing. Be in your place. Take your rightful place. Okay. Because our actual seats were better than the seats that we were in before. Because when we moved to our actual seats, we were now surrounded by English-speaking people. Mm-hmm. We were now right under the speakers.
The seats that we went to were a little bit higher.
Yeah.
So we went down lower, and it was an overall more comfortable spot.
We were right under the speakers, and we had a more direct view of the track, and it was like, guys, I can't even. So end of day one, we were able to find the Uber zone. The Uber zone was very close to where we were in terms of our section. So we found the Uber zone. We got, sandwich and water and stuff, and we got our Uber, got back to the hotel. No problem. Beautiful day. Enjoyed it. Exhausted, but we enjoyed it. So we said, all right, day 2. And these are early mornings, right? Early mornings if you want to catch everything.
It's a full day thing.
Yeah.
So most persons who are experienced probably don't go to day 1 because they're like, okay, we've been here a couple of times. I know what day 1 is about.
Right, because day 1 was really a little scanty.
Yeah.
In terms
day
of
1 was like the other types of races. I don't remember what they're called.
They had some F4 races going on at that time as well. If F1 is interspersed with the F4 races and stuff. So we got to see the F4 drivers as well, which was pretty cool, But yeah, so day 2, we were like, all right, so we know now how to find our gate. Mm-hmm. We know how to get back to the hotel. We feel good. We feel confident. So we roll out for day 2, right? Jump in the taxi, got to gate 15. Well, actually, we came off at gate 12 again, but we knew now to go on the bus. So we went on the bus, got around to gate 15, went to our seats, were good, right? That's when we learned that we were in the wrong seats the whole time the day before, but we got in our right seats. And,
But the crowd had picked up.
Yes, it was a much larger crowd, and it was just like the intensity was great. You could feel the energy. So we had a great day too. Mr. Competitive over here kept on insisting that I'm sorry.
Say
That
it.
Mercedes
Say it.
that
Say it.
Ferrari.
Say it.
That Ferrari was
Bias
gonna win.
in our voice.
I mean, come on.
Mm.
Come on. Anyway. But to be honest, when we were watching them, I was like, oh dang.
It got so bad I started to root for Verstappen because I was like, anybody but Hamilton.
But the truth
needs
is,
to win.
in on day two when we were watching it, we were like, ooh, those Ferraris look very
Mhm.
fast on the straight
Mhm.
though. Like
Mm.
I was a little worried. I was a little bit worried.
Mm.
I was a
It's
little bit
rigged.
worried.
It's rigged. I don't know how, but it's rigged.
No, it's not. We just have better vehicles at Mercedes. Okay, so
More money, better vehicles. It's so weird.
It's what it
It's
is.
so weird.
It's what it is, and
It's so weird.
we have the best driver, the best driver. So
Put
Yeah.
Hamilton for Ferrari. Would he win?
he probably would.
No,
'cause he's the
whatever.
best driver.
Whatever. Whatever.
Anyway,
Whatever.
yes. So day two, we thought we could do the same thing re Uber, right? But as we said,
No,
the
'cause
crowd
there's
had picked up.
thousands more people. So we
Yeah.
had to. There was a Uber line,
Yeah,
and
to get into
Uber
the Uber
line
center.
was ridiculous. We were
It's
able
like a
to-
2 hour wait. The guys were saying it's about a 2 hour wait, guys, and we're like, huh?
No, but it was more because by the
It
time
was.
you got anywhere, it was like we spent like an hour in the line.
Yeah. Yeah, and then eventually they just opened it up and said, everybody come in and, you can get, and we just couldn't figure out what was going on because now it was no longer orderly. It was fully chaotic.
Because
But
there's just
then-
so many people.
Yeah, but then someone gave us the heads up and they were like, you know what? If you go outside the Uber zone, then you'll be able to call your own Uber
Mhm.
or your own taxi and go. So we said, all right, cool. Let's try that. Child. You want to tell them how that went?
No, please go ahead. You're doing a great job. Please do tell.
So we went out. We said, okay, let's go. So we went outside and we keep on checking the phone to see when we're outside of the zone, right? So we had to just keep walking until
It
we
would
got
never come.
it was so far because that zone was huge. That Uber zone was huge. So we got outside of the zone.
So just to kind of clarify what the Uber zone meant, if you were within the zone, you had to go to a specific spot to
Right.
get the Uber,
yeah.
and it was a queue. So if we stayed in the Uber zone, we had to essentially go through that line with like 500 persons before
Yeah.
us that
Yeah.
had to go before we could get one. So we're
Right.
like that can't work.
We were already exhausted.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, let's just walk. So we walked and eventually we got to a bus stop and we were able to grab a taxi there to get back to the hotel. So we did, and we got back safely. We're like, thank you, Jesus.
Yep.
We got back safely. And then that night, our friend's girlfriend came to pick us up for dinner.
That was amazing.
Food. Like it was an
That's
authentic
amazing.
Mexican restaurant.
And it was so
So good.
affordable. We had
Yeah.
so much food. Like
So much food.
yeah, it was
We-
awesome.
Couldn't finish it, but it was a lot of food and it was all so good.
Yeah.
But like the interesting thing about that,
You remember the name of the restaurant?
I don't. I can check the
We probably
pictures. Though.
took photos, yeah.
One of the most interesting things about that part of the journey, though, and the overall trip to Mexico, for me, it was such a prayerful time, and usually our vacations are not so intense in terms of prayer, but every day, every night, every moment while we were there, it was just so rich in prayer.
But I think we understood why
We-
after day 2.
Yeah.
After, night 3.
Yeah, so there were a couple things. There were a couple things happening. Around that time, it's also leading up to Dia del Muerto, which is Halloween in the U.S., which of course we don't subscribe to. We don't believe in. So a lot of things in the space were pointing to those kind of celebrations, and so we were we were very cognizant of that. And then also when we went to dinner, whew, we went to dinner. Um, we were coming back, and well, the girlfriend was now dropping us to the hotel. A lot of roads were closed off because Formula One was in town and stuff. So she had to drive, and there was a lot of traffic.
Well, you're missing a step. So right as we got to the restaurant, right before we were about to cross the street, I just started to pray.
Yeah.
And I'm praying. I'm just praying under my breath, and I'm praying, and I mentioned it to Rennie, and I just kept on praying because I couldn't tell why. I didn't know what was happening, and I was just praying, praying,
Right.
praying. The whole time we were at the restaurant, had a great time as praying. On the way home now, on the way
Yeah.
back to the hotel, we're driving, and it turns out that the brakes for the car that we're in stopped working.
So crazy. And what was interesting is that I then after dinner I got the urge to start praying. So I had been praying in the car the whole time as well, and I know that Jermaine had continued praying, even though we're having conversation and stuff. We were still like praying. Road is filled with traffic. Because roads are closed off. Formula One is in town and all of that. So the streets were busy, and the brake stop and or driver or escort, she's trying to get the car to work,
Yeah.
get the brakes to function, get the car to get the engine to turn over, because I think the engine eventually stopped. It was a lot of stop and go. And
Yeah. So
at one point we were rolling across an intersection, and we were just like, ow.
or like, should I call home? So this whole time I'm like, should I call home? Is this gonna be my last night? Should I tell Renee I love her one last time? I'm like,
Yeah, and then we said to her, maybe we should pull over, because now she has called her mechanic and is saying to the mechanic, this is what is happening. Can you come and meet me? And the mechanic is saying, I can't make
based
it.
on just the
Does
roads
it-
being blocked and
yeah.
how far away he was, all of that stuff.
Yeah, so we suggested pulling over, and she's like, no, you don't want to pull over in this area. so we're like,
Not in
all
these
right.
streets.
So I said, all right, we're gonna turn up the prayer.
Yeah.
So we were both like, we were just praying, and I think she started acknowledging the prayers that we were praying and stuff, and then the car started, and we were able to get to her house. So we're like, Lord, you are so amazing.
That was just an amazing experience for me, because it's clear that we had to start praying when we did. And I think the scripture that the Lord kind of gave me was a chapter, I think it was Psalm 53.
I don't remember which one he gave you, but I remember getting one as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were just so grateful, because we were like, this whole trip, an amazing trip, but we also were able to spend so much time in prayer, spend so much time with the Lord, and it was just a great experience.
It was truly a blessing. So, we got to her house, we got a cab, we got an Uber there, and we were able to get back to the hotel just fine. And again, it was just a night of such gratitude. The presence of the Lord was so rich, was so strong throughout the whole trip. And we were able to experience and enjoy what was there to be offered,
Yeah.
So after all of that drama, like, our trips always have some adventure, right? Which I love. I don't mind. So we went.
You don't mind
to-
almost dying?
It's adventurous. But did you die? Yes. So then comes day 3, finals day. Like,
Worst day ever.
yes. So it was not the worst day ever.
Worst day ever.
So, by now we know how to get there, how to get to the track. We got there good, and we are prepared. We got our food and stuff, and we're in the correct seats and everything. So we went through the day. We enjoyed it from top to bottom, met some awesome people from the US and Australia and Netherlands and like all over the world. People were there. And of course we had to represent Jamaica, and people were like, why do you have, like, there are no Jamaican drivers. Like,
Doesn't
no,
matter.
but we're Jamaican
Doesn't matter.
fans. So what are you saying?
If you go somewhere, persons have to know that
That
you're
you're-
from Jamaica. That's how it works.
Come on now. Yes, so we had a grand time with that. We took a lot of pictures, a lot of video. You know, we got to participate in the Mexican wave, though it broke like 10 times. but day 3 was a good day.
Yeah, the best part about the day, I mean, the worst part was when Mercedes won. But the best part was when, you know, they had the ceremony.
Yeah.
So the ceremony, we started to see all the drivers come together. It was like we were right there. Like, we were
Yes.
right there.
Listen. Oh, we totally forgot about the opening ceremony on was it day 1? Whenever it was. I don't remember which day it was.
Air show. something.
Yes, so you know, the flyovers, and they had all of these like very colorful stuff happening on the track. It was amazing, and again, our seats were right there, so we had direct view of all of that. It was amazing.
Yeah. So pretty much once they did the award,
The race was over.
pretty much a party after that.
Yeah.
So
But
we're
hold on. You like brushed over the win too quickly,
What?
right?
I mean, the second best team won. The team that was best last.
Come
It's
on.
just time to move on. Like, there's nothing else to say about it.
So
Okay, do you want to have a moment of silence for Lewis Hamilton? Is that what you want?
no moment of silence. He didn't die. He won. So I mean, it was awesome because like that victory sealed his win for the year, and I was like, yes, I'm here to see it. I'm here for it. And you know, he does that thing where he jumps out to the car and jumps on the top of the car and, you know, celebrates, and we're like, yeah.
And you got to see the donuts right in front of them.
Yes, they did the donuts and stuff. It was so good, guys. It was so good, so exciting. Let me calm down.
I think she really wanted to do this video to talk about Lewis Hamilton.
No,
I think that's her main motive for doing this.
no,
video.
it's really not,
Right.
and it's really not just about it's really not just about Lewis, but it's like I like Mercedes as a team. Anyway, I think they have great strategy.
As they didn't have the most money.
No, it's not about the money. It's really about how they use their resources to get the win. Because even when they're not in the best place, like they have challenges in the pit, their strategy keeps them
All right.
top, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Anywhoosies.
You're not convincing.
So it was great being in that close proximity with the drivers and the vehicles and stuff. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So I wish you could afford some. So if you're gonna do a trip like this, whatever your budget is, carry an extra $1,000. That's all I say, because the merchandise, we wanted to get some that was awesome.
True. No, that was
The
enough.
food, like we couldn't eat as much as we wanted to, though we were hungry because it started to add up.
Yeah.
So we were quickly going over budget. So we're like, let's just kind of keep it
And
within.
then I think the funny thing about that too is that they had different types of food depending on the section that you were in.
Yeah.
And so sometimes the food that was in our section, we didn't want that food and stuff. But I mean, we figured it out. I mean, we were okay.
We were still,
You know, we just ate
all
when
things considered, it was
Yeah.
awesome. It's just that for me, I really would have wanted to leave with more merchandise.
Yeah, I think it's a merch for you.
Yeah,
But
because I mean, the memory is there, but to have
Yeah.
something physical to remember it, that would be cool.
Yeah. But as you said, after the trophies were awarded and stuff, you know, parties started, the DJ
So that was our cue
started
to
going,
leave.
and we were like, all right, cool. You know, the confetti and the track is now filled with people because everybody is running on the track and stuff.
Yeah.
We were like, all right, cool, nice. We bumped for like 10 minutes and they were like, all right, cool, let's go.
We're not youngins
We're
anymore.
oh
Time
gosh,
to go.
we're so not. So we went, and this time the same Uber zone that we mentioned had expanded even further. So while we thought we could have gone to the same bus stop that we went to the day before, we
So we
couldn't.
ended up at the the bus stop that we're at the first day. Like that's how far we had to walk.
Yeah.
And our phone battery was low, and we were like we're walking so far. I was like, should we just walk back to the hotel? Like that's how far we were walking.
We weren't
And
even
it
sure,
was raining.
and it was raining, right? We weren't even
So-
sure where we were at this point, and we came upon some taxi men on the side of the road, and they were like, where are you going? And we told them where we're going, and they were giving us some ridiculous rate, like some 80 US or something, and we're like,
Uber,
no,
thank you.
bro,
Yeah.
nah. So we walked just literally like across the road from where they were, and we were able to get the Uber,
Yeah.
and we stood there we were able to shelter like
Yeah,
under.
we're right at the corner. Like there was a shop there, and
Yeah.
apparently there were some other persons trying to do the same thing that
Yeah.
we're doing, and yeah,
And
so-
we were able to get our Uber, and we got back to the hotel. We're like, ooh, adventure. But it was again a good time, a good
Yeah.
day.
it was a good trip.
And we were able to get some food back at the hotel, and yeah, then that was kind of the closeout of that time for us. We were exhausted though, because the days took so much. Like it took so much out of us, but it was awesome.
Yeah, we almost didn't do that trip that year because we were like, could we really afford it?
Yeah.
And then Renee kind of really wanted to do it, and I was like, okay, let's do it. It's our 10th,
Yeah.
and it so happens that the very year after
COVID.
So we're like,
Like,
that's
yeah.
why we were being
Alright.
led to do it.
We're
Because,
like, all right.
yeah,
okay,
that
Jesus.
feels like so long ago. But
Yeah.
that was our last trip.
Yeah, that was our last trip. And so we would have also like visited the mall and see, and I say see, the street food vendors. I was so excited. I was so ready to buy, because that was on our way to the mall. And Jermaine is like, no, we can do it when we're going back to the hotel. I said, all right, because he's a little less adventurous when it comes to food than I am.
Why though? It goes into your body. Why do you want to be adventurous with something that goes into your body?
But you know what? Like the street food is so, like, it's so
So
intriguing.
you should have had it. Go ahead. Enjoy. You have
But-
my blessing.
Well, no. So, anywho's, so we didn't get to have it, but it was awesome. It was an awesome
She
sight.
said we like our stomachs are joined. They're not. So
I didn't get to have it.
there you go.
Go ahead.
No, that was it.
Yeah. And that was the sum total of what we would have done on the trip, right? So that day at the mall gave us a little bit of an experience as well, because we were able to walk some of the streets. The Uber couldn't. We did an Uber pool, so it didn't drop us directly at the mall. We had to do some walking to get there, and that was a little exposure as well, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then it started raining again, and we had to figure out, getting the Uber to get back to the hotel. But it was fine. It worked out.
Well, it was overall a good trip. It's tied for first in my mind, because we've been to Colombia.
Yes.
Colombia was amazing.
Yes,
We've been
and
to
the
Bahamas.
Colombian food is great too.
I've also done some trips without Renee for work, so I've been to
Puerto
some
Rico.
places. Yeah, Puerto Rico's nice.
And also we very much enjoyed our cruise.
Yeah, so those are for
Because
other
it's
videos, guys. So
it's good.
let us know. Let us know which one you'd be interested in hearing about. But we've been to quite a few places. We're looking forward to traveling again, post-COVID, of course. So
Yeah.
we're hoping that by the end of this year, maybe early next, I guess, depending on how the vaccines roll out, we'll see
Yeah.
if travel is opened up again. But I think travel is open is whether or not you want to go through. Yeah, which we don't. So not right now. Would rather have like a certain amount of vaccinations done, because I'd rather have the vaccine, go and take the trip knowing I don't have to do a nasal swab. Like, no, thank you.
It's not pleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is it for our favorite vacation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us in the comments and we will get back to you. We will respond to you. And before we go, once again, we just want to remind you of Kingdom Quality Apparel, who sponsored this video today. Check them out on Instagram. We'll put their link in the description. So go check them out. A launch is coming up soon. So follow their page for information on that.
And we'll see you in the next video.